Welcome in, everybody, to SportsGrid. This is Fantasy Sports Today. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia. With me this morning is George Kurtz, and it's all of you hanging out for 2 hours of fantasy sports here on the grid. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, a lot of big games from yesterday, a lot of huge performances all week, and of course, George Kurtz, fresh, hungover from a graduation last night in a high school. George, I first of all, congratulations to your daughter who graduated high school yesterday. That's a huge milestone in a family's life. Also, I want to know, did it take longer for you to get out of the parking lot after graduation, or longer for one of the guys in the NBA draft to get from the lobby onto the stage to get their jersey? Just curious.
I'm gonna go with the NHL draft. How long those players took there, but
okay.
I said congratulations to Dakota. Very proud of you, extremely proud of you. But can't use that word. It was a show last night as far as getting in and getting out of the high school there. Okay, so you can figure that. I mean, if I could have the little minute we have to complain at the end, I just use it to complain about getting in and out of there. School's 5-10 minutes away. Took me an hour and a half to get in, a little over an hour to get out. Not very well organized at all. But hey, I was going to say I don't have to deal with it anymore. That's not true. I got a younger daughter, too, who's going to be a sophomore now. So I'll have to go through this again in 3 years. But congratulations, Dakota. Very proud.
Next time, walk or Uber. See, now you know. Now you know what's going on.
Uber
you know
would
the
not
lay
have
of the
helped.
land. Uber would not have helped. Nothing would have helped yesterday. Well, we're going to kick things off here this morning with the one thing that's really helping the New York Mets, and it is Juan Soto, because that guy has been absolutely red hot. Sure, the Mets have been a little struggle bus lately, but they're still hovering around first place. So can we all just calm the hell down, because it's a 162-game season? Juan Soto, on the other hand, my God. I remember a couple of weeks ago when people were worried, quote unquote, and I'm doing air quotes right now. I know you can't feel them on the radio, but you can see them now on the TV, that everybody was so worried about Juan Soto. Nobody's worried out anymore. He's a great player who is pressing a little bit in the beginning of a giant contract, the biggest in baseball history. Look at what he's done over the last month of June. Look at what he's done in the last 7 games, George. 409 batting average, 6 home runs, 9 ribbies, and a stolen base. Look, the Mets rotation right now is falling apart in terms of health. McGill on the IL, Griffin Canning now out for the year. Kodai Senga on the IL. Sean Manaea had a little setback. Hopefully he's going to begin throwing again next week. But they did have Frankie Montas return. He looked surprisingly good, and I definitely want to emphasize the surprisingly, because the 12 ERA in the rehab starts was not encouraging. I thought he was going to get absolutely lit up in that start. But Juan Soto has been unbelievable. And George, when you think about the fact that he's still just 26 years old, it should be terrifying for the rest of the league how good this guy could be when he gets to his peak at 28, 29, and 30.
I think it's terrifying for him. He's the best hitter in baseball, one of the best hitters in baseball. Judge and Ohtani is certainly going to make an argument for that. But I don't think I was ever worried about Juan Soto. All right, he was going to hit. He's just too good, too natural for him not to hit here. So I don't think I was worried about Soto for that. The biggest problem for the Mets is already going to be what you mentioned here as far as pitching is concerned here. As for Soto, it's going to be, well, he's a great hitter. Defense, not so much. Base running's average as well here. But the Mets' problem, by the way, it's not going to be Soto. It's not going to be Alonso. It's not going to be Nemo. Good luck with that pitching staff, boys and girls. Good luck. Especially when your GM doesn't believe in, he doesn't believe in paying those aces, right? Doesn't believe in that. Didn't believe in Milwaukee. He'll bring them up if they're in the system, but he doesn't believe in paying for it. The reason being they're generally not worth the money. They get hurt all the time. They do. Problem is, so do the other guys. They all get hurt nowadays, right? So I'm going to be very interested to see what the Mets and Stearns do by the deadline in about a month now. Right? You've got to fortify that staff some way, somehow. And let's face it, that's going to cost, because everybody wants to fortify their staff. You want to get Alcantara, who's probably not going to the same division, going to cost you. Right? You want to get, Zach Gallen, if Arizona falls out, going to cost you.
No,
doesn't matter how
they don't.
Pitching right now.
Nobody wants Zach Gallen. I don't want Zach Gallen. You don't want Zach Gallen. The Diamondbacks don't. Nobody wants Zach Gallen. More on that probably later in the show, or maybe even tomorrow on FSD. We'll hammer Zach Gallen away. But no, nobody wants Gowan, but the Mets have plenty of prospects to move. And let's not pretend like the Marlins are really in this. If they're going to trade whoever gives them the best prospects and the best deal, and the Marlins are not in this anytime soon, in the division, out of the division, it's not going to matter. They're the Marlins, for God's sakes. Also, a starting pitcher that has returned from injury, Shota Imanaga. Ben Brown got sent down, and that opened up that spot here for Shota Imanaga to return, who's missed considerable time here. The good news is a really good start for him. 5 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, no earned runs. So Shota Imanaga giving a shot in the arm to the Cubs rotation. However, George, I've been saying this on all my shows on Fantasy Pros MLB all week long. This is the peak time to trade him. If you have been missing Shota Imanaga and you picked up Mizorowski or Bubic or one of these guys who's been fantastic in helping you with your rotation the last couple weeks or even months, Shota Imanaga is just a bonus guy, but there's a lot of regression potential coming here. His K per 9 is down to 6.70. Just for reference, last year it was at 9 K per 9. Last year's walk per 9 was at 1.45. This year, 2.72. That's awful. His ERA sits at 2.54, George, but his expected ERA is at 4.30. The FIP is at 4.32, and the XFIP is at 4.82. Those are terrifying numbers. I think this is the peak value potentially to get out from Shota Imanaga. I'm not saying he can't find himself again. All I'm saying is let's not pretend like 2025 has been great for him when he's been on the mound. What are your thoughts on Imanaga and his trade value out of the market as pitchers are dropping like flies in fantasy? And I'm sure Imanaga on the Cubs could bring you back quite a haul.
I don't know about quite a haul. I think he would bring you back. You'd be happy with the return here. The problem is, do you have enough pitching? No, I mean, you said a lot of guys getting hurt. How many of us would have Imanaga and have enough pitching to be able to deal him? Because you're probably not dealing for another pitcher. That wouldn't make a lot of sense here. All right, you're probably dealing with some hitting that you need. So I might worry about that. I'd be very careful about dealing with pitcher. Even though I agree with you that I think there is regression coming. I don't think it's major regression, by the way. I think the fact that he took a month off could be beneficial as the season goes on. A little fresher for him here. So I can certainly look at it that way as well. But yeah, I wouldn't have a problem moving him, but I would be very careful. You know, if you have 2 extra starters, well, now you have 1 extra starter. And we're only halfway through the season. More injuries are coming here. We know that in baseball. So I would just proceed with caution here. But I agree with the sentiment. You know, if I can move him for a fair price, yeah, I would do it. I don't need to win the trade. A fair price and I'm moving the guy, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
All right. By the way, you can tell George is tired this morning because he went full gold member and just called him Imanaja. How's your faja? Yeah, how is you? Yeah, George? You're tired? You want to smoke in a pancake? Maybe a bong and a blinch? Yeah, okay. I don't know. George, you've seen at least all the Austin Powers movies, right? I know like sometimes you're in a bubble.
No idea what you're talking about, by the way.
You've never seen the third Austin Powers. You've seen one of the Austin Powers movies.
I've seen the first Austin Powers or the second Austin Powers. I didn't even know there were 3 Austin Powers.
You know, George, if it wasn't the first segment, I'd walk off the show right now. But they're paying me for the entire day, so I'm going to sit here and we're going to do the show regardless. And then after the show, you got to watch some of the Austin Powers movies. I mean, come on, man. So especially because I look kind of like Dr. Evil. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to Jacob Mizorowski, who is lighting up the radar gun and certainly getting everybody excited about the Milwaukee Brewers. You remember a couple weeks ago on this show, I was talking about the Milwaukee Brewers and saying you should probably bet them when they're at, I don't know, it's plus 650 to win this division because, eventually pitching's going to win out. And Jacob Mizorowski, I remember coming on Craig Mish's show and talking about NL Rookie of the Year and how I didn't like Baldwin, didn't like Agustin Ramirez. Well, guess what? Mizorowski, when he was at 12-1, that was the bet I was giving you. Now it's at minus 120. Now, if you look at what's going on here for the Milwaukee Brewers, they're just 2 games out right now of the Central in the National League. Mizorowski has been unhittable. George, this is a kid who is a tall drink of water. The ball gets up on you very quickly. It's a very uncomfortable at-bat because as he lunges towards home plate, it feels as though basically he's putting the ball in the catcher's mitt. It's pretty stunning. And so far, the National League, at least, has not had a response. We had a fun matchup where he and Skeen squared off, and Jacob Mizorowski won the day. So we're definitely looking at Jacob Mizorowski as one of the bright shining stars of Major League Baseball. But I'm sure George will tell you, 100 miles an hour, eventually we will get a Tommy John. Shout out to Ron Washington, too, taking a break. Our thoughts were with him. We'll be back with more FST right after this.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bombers Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all three levels. And the thing about I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Fantasy Sports today. Joe Pisapia and George Kurtz with you. It's time to look ahead of the 3 up and the 3 down in Major League Baseball over the last week 14 of fantasy play. And I got to say, to quote Major League, seeing's the most important thing, son. Max Muncy has really turned things around since all of a sudden the glasses showed up for him. Take a look at what he's done here in week 14. 15 RBIs, 4 home runs, a 368 batting average. Absolutely stunning. Max Muncy before the glasses hitting a $185, George, no homers, 4 RBI in 28 games. Puts the glasses on, 291 batting average, 12 homers, 47 RBI in 48 games. That, my friends, is a big difference. Now, it makes you wonder, these guys go through physicals every year. You know, I mean, remember we were in school, George? Remember all those years ago? You know, they do the little hearing test. You have to hold your hand up and the right and the left. Don't they do the eye chart? They do all these things. They don't do the eye chart for these guys to see if they can see. I mean, what a huge difference, Max. I wonder how many other players who stink right now are watching Max Muncy going, you know, maybe I should take a trip to Lens Crafters. What do you think?
It's amazing what these can do for you, all right? And seeing that little white sphere, it's going about 100 miles an hour. And if you actually see it, you can probably hit it here. And he fooled around for a while there. You look at someone who watched a lot of Dodger games late night, have a lot of Dodger players on my fantasy team. So, and I've got Max Muncy on several teams. So I was thrilled that, see ball, hit ball. All right, let's make it a little easier here. And you're right, by the way, it is crazy. You would think that's one of the things they would do every spring training. Everyone, look at the eye chart. You know, let's find out what you can do. Oh, your eyes are worse than last year. Perhaps you need a pair of these.
Yeah, seriously. It's unbelievable the difference it's made here for Max Muncy. And it's made a huge difference, too. I think at the end of April, people are wondering, is Max Muncy going to lose his gig? I mean, we've seen him be a streaky player before, so I am curious to see if it's just the glasses or just one of the classic Max Muncy hot and cold streaks that we've seen in his career. However, it does make you wonder where the hot and cold streaks just maybe wasn't seeing the ball very well. I don't know. But, well, someday find out. Maybe never. Who knows? George Springer is up next year for the ups in week 14. A 579 batting average, 8 RBI, a home run, and 2 stolen bases. Now, George Springer is another one of these guys, George. He can run a little hot and cold. And during those cold streaks, sometimes he gets dropped to the waiver wire. So if he's floating out there in a shallow league right now, do you think George Springer in, let's say, a 10-team league is a guy that you still want to have as a starting outfielder, or do you think he is just really just relegated for those deeper 12-team leagues?
when I look at George Springer, he's a baseball player, all right? But a fantasy one, where's he helping us, Joe? Not really a big home run guy, not really a big speed guy. Average, okay, but where's that category? Oh, I gotta pick up George. We're talking a 10-team league, 12-team league and above. He's gone already. So that'd be my one issue. What's the category we're hoping for? Do we just need a guy, a filler? A guy who's not gonna hurt us anywhere? Okay, that could be George. I can certainly see that. Maybe you want somebody who's more consistent here, but he's just not that one category guy. Like I said, for me, Joe, I need speed. I don't draft it. I don't draft for it very well, and I know it going in that I'm not going to draft for speed. I do it in every damn league here. And if George is out there, and I like George Springer, but he's more that third, fourth out there field for me, a guy I don't have to worry about. But he's not going to fill that category for me. So that would be my biggest problem with George.
All right, let's move to third base here with Caleb Durbin of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, look, Durbin is a guy that has been pretty quiet for most of the year, but he's getting hot right about now. Take a look at what he's done over the last week here. .417 batting average, 5 ribbies, a steal, and a home run. Now, if you start to look at the splits a little bit for Durbin, I think that tells a very interesting story too, because against left-handed pitching, he's hitting .327 on the year, .867 OPS. The batting average against right-handed pitching, however, just .220 with a .630 OPS. So I personally am not buying this. In fact, I think the Eugenio Suarez sweepstakes should be the Milwaukee Brewers lining up at the front of the queue to get his services and replace Durbin, send him to the bench. That's my thoughts on this. So, George, I don't know if you're buying this, but to me, those splits, that righty and lefty split for him, especially when you see predominantly right-handed pitching, that's just too much for me. I'm not going to get too excited about what Caleb Durbin is doing, although it's been beneficial to the Brewers. I think the Brewers could serve themselves much better by going out there, making a deal for a guy like Suarez, putting him at third base, putting him in the middle of that order, giving him another big bat, and going to battle against the Cubs for the rest of the season. What do you think about Durbin and possibility of Suarez being the guy, the main target for the Milwaukee Brewers?
He'll be one of the targets from the Milwaukee Brewers. Whether it's the main, we'll see there, but he'll be a target. No, absolutely there. Durbin's one of the guys acquired by the Brewers in the Devin Williams deal with the Yankees there. Not really a top prospect. He sort of is what he is. Once again, if you have Durbin, batting .246, so he's sort of hurting you there. No power, 4 home runs, and he's got 6 stolen bases. So what are we doing here? He's a rookie. I think he will get better, but I'm not talking, oh my God, better. He's not a star. He's this guy's, roof might be, hey, solid player, and that's not good enough in fantasy. We should be able to do better, especially in 10-team leagues. Even a 12-team league, I'm not all that interested, Joe. We talk about 14 or AL only, NL only above leagues where I'm interested in Durbin.
Some guys go up, others go down. Marcell Ozuna's been a down. And if you watch FST on Sunday edition a couple weeks ago, I was talking about selling Marcell Ozuna because of that hip injury that really worried me down the stretch. In the month of June, he's hitting a .183, a .554 OPS. You see the stats over the last week, hitting .192. That has not been good. Freddie Freeman, another one, too, who's struggling mightily, George, hitting under 100 this week. Freddie Freeman has played for almost 14-plus seasons now, averaging 145 games a season. And when you add in all those 62 postseason games that he's played, it's a lot of tread on those tires, a lot of, just normal aging for a player we're not used to seeing. But now we see it because of steroids and HGH and all that stuff being out of the game. And then Alec Boehm, who was a guy that I never want to roster. To me, he's always been replaceable. He's hit a $150 over the last week with just 2 RBI. So of all these 3 downs, George, which one is the most concerning to you? Ozuna, Freeman, or Boehm?
Probably Boehm will be the most concerning because he's the one guy we haven't seen, who's never really put it all together here. Freeman, where you mentioned the numbers here and the age, but it's also the injuries coming in. We sort of knew this could be a problem year for him. Right? He was hurt coming in with the knee, and he had something else as well here. Ozuna, they're talking that Atlanta might move him. He's a 10-5 player at DH only. Who wants him?
Who wants him? That's the question. Who wants him? Well, you know what we want? We want to talk about the aces when we come back, the guys who had the big pitching performances of the week that are probably going to help get you that W in that column in your fantasy league. So we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk about those big arms right here on FST.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all three levels. And the thing about I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The Red Sox might be dead in the American League East 8 games back, at least probably. But in the wild card, they're still very much alive. Just 3 games right now out of contention. The problem is it's a very, very tough American League East, and they're battling through the Rays and the Yankees and the Blue Jays as well, fighting for position, jockeying around, which brings us to the guy leading the charge here for the rotation of the Boston Red Sox, and that is one Mr. Garrett Crochet, my ace of the week. It was pretty good. 7 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, none. 3 walks from him, an incredible performance. Look, Garrett Crochet has been advertised. I still can't believe the coup that the Red Sox pulled off, trading Kyle Teal and Chase Mydroth for Garrett Crochet. I can't believe the White Sox somehow let the Red Sox steal him away for that. There were so many other teams in baseball that probably could offer a better package. Maybe nobody wanted to. I don't know what the reason was, but Boston got themselves their future ace, a left-handed pitcher with big-time power potential there, a guy who's going to get you probably 200-plus strikeouts every single season. He's healthy and taking the mound. It was a great start for him this week. George, he wasn't the only great starter this week, though, because your guy looks like he's all the way back. I have to say, when I was at home, and I flipped on the television and I saw the alert underneath that said, no hitter alert, and I saw Jacob deGrom, I got a pit in my stomach, and I'll tell you why. Because all I kept thinking about was, oh no, I don't want him to go to 110 to 120 pitches. Oh no, please, somebody get a hit here off Jacob deGrom, because this is not what he's been building up for. Luckily, it was a very efficient night for him. I think he was around, like 90 pitches or so for this. Eventually, in the 8th inning, guy got a hit. They took him out. We move on. But still, regardless, an incredible performance. So let's talk about Jacob deGrom, where you have him ranked the rest of the season, too, in terms of starting pitchers. Do you believe that Jacob deGrom is all the way back now after what you saw, not only in this start against the Orioles, but what you've seen from Jacob deGrom in the last, I would say, 6 weeks or so?
I mean, I'm not going to put him Jacob deGrom back in his prime there, but he's immensely better than what we expected this season, right? He's got that 14 starts, 15 starts, 2 earned runs or less. He's playing lights out here. You mentioned that the no hitter, and no doubt that Boshi was thrilled when he gave up that hit. Every manager, by the way, is thrilled when their pitcher gives up a hit because nobody wants. It's just sad. Oh my God, he might throw 110 pitches. God forbid. You know, they're all thrilled now when your pitcher gives up that hit, right? Clark Schmidt got taken out. Granted, it would have taken him 130 pitches. He was well over 100 as it was. Nick Martinez, you know, they were thrilled when he gave up the hit here. And now DeGrom, it is what it is. But, you know, as far as DeGrom, yeah, I think he's coming pretty close to that guy. They've been I think the most important thing is Texas has told him, okay, listen, we're going to have you go, you know, we're going to baby you to come to start the season. 50 pitches, 60 pitches, 70 pitches. You're certainly not going above 90 to 100 here. And you don't need to go max velocity every pitch. All right, be a pitcher, not a thrower. I think more pitchers need to be that. You joked earlier in the show about Mizorowski, who's certainly a Cy Young guy waiting to happen. We all know that. A Tommy John guy waiting to happen here. It's going to happen. He's
maybe both.
He's not built. Yeah, right, maybe both eventually. I don't really have much doubt about that. But he's not built like Roger Clemens, that big burly Texan guy. These guys are all stick figures, and it's going to happen probably sooner rather than later. Just get out of the way here. So DeGrom, most important thing for him is be a pitcher. You don't need to throw the ball 99 miles an hour every pitcher. 95, 96 will get major league batters out as long as you put it in the right spot.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little like the end of Pedro Martinez's career, too, with the Mets, where he was not quite what he was, but he was certainly good enough to get you some W's and maybe get you in the playoffs. Another ace, our producer Sam's ace of the week, Sonny Gray. He keeps telling me it's the obvious one. And maybe it is. 11 strikeouts, 9 innings pitched for him, no earned, no walks. So certainly if you got that bonus, pretty damn good there for Sonny Gray for the complete game and the shutout there. George, real quick, going back to the Rangers. Rangers are 2.5 games out of the wild card. I know Seager has struggled this year. Simeon was awful, finally showing signs of life in the month of June. Wyatt Langford, you know, again, another side injury, another issue here. Are the Rangers a legitimate playoff contending team, or should they look to maybe unload the rest of this DeGrom contract before it's too late?
Would anybody take on that contract? That's a hefty contract to take on here for a guy who, granted, we think he's back, but it's been 3 months. I don't think Stearns would do that. No. His history tells you no.
I don't think it's Stearns' decision, George. I don't think it's Stearns' decision.
I think it's his decision. I think Cole might okay it if he asked him. I don't think Stevie is going to overturn Stearns. I think Stearns has that kind of power. That being said, do I think they should? Probably.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's a guy that writes the checks that you really got to watch out for. We'll be back with more FST after this.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
There's nothing we like more than a good start to the season. We love it, but we also have to be realistic to a certain degree, don't we? Not everything is going to be roses and rainbows the entire season. Sometimes, eventually regression does come. So we're going to take a look at some players who are having some really solid seasons with some really good counting stats. Maybe, just maybe, some regression is due to hit them, and maybe even hit them hard. Let's start with Jeremy Pena, who is one of my favorite value picks going into the year. I'm already thrilled, as you should all be, with Jeremy Pena's performance. Take a look at what he's done so far this year. A 322 batting average, 40 RBI, 11 homers, and 15 stolen bases. He's on pace for a really nice 20-30 season. I'll take that every day of the week. However, we got to dig a little deeper here, because although he's hitting 322 right now, his expected batting average is somewhere around 290. That means eventually things are going to regress a little bit in that category. His slugging percentage is 489. His expected slug is 453. Also, when you look at some of the deeper metrics on Baseball Savant, his exit velocity, barrel rate, hard hit rate are all kind of mediocre or underperforming. To me, Jeremy Pena is not a guy that I want to get rid of necessarily, George, because I drafted him late. But I think you have to understand, if Jeremy Pena has been carrying your offense in the last couple of weeks, maybe, just maybe, you should be looking to fortify that offense with a little bit more. What are your thoughts on the season that Pena has had and some of these deeper metrics that are a little bit troubling when you start to dig deeper?
Well, he was trouble. He came out of the game last night taking that hit by the pitch in the ribs. I thought the injury was more serious than it actually ended up being here. He's no fracture there. Probably will not play today, so we'll keep that in mind. Maybe get a little pitch hit opportunity. Nothing wrong with giving him a day off as long as the injury is not severe there. But Pena did come out of the game last night after 2 at-bats of getting hit. The shortstop is pretty deep, so you probably have him as a middle infielder if you have him. He's already paid off for you. He's had a fantastic season. He's one of the reasons why Houston's been able to withstand the loss of not only Kyle Tucker, who's with the Cubs, but Jordan Alvarez, who's on the back of a milk carton. We going to see him anytime soon? So they needed someone to step up here. All right, with Christian Walker getting out to the slow start here, Isaac Pereira, same thing, and Pena's been that guy. So he's been a catalyst for this team here. Bottom line is this: I'm not looking to trade for him. He's I'm going to need to see more. And it's probably, when I say more, I mean it's next year more. I'm that guy who, look at the back of a baseball card. I know what you're going to do as far as fantasy is concerned. He's not proven that to me yet. So is what it is here. But if someone's trying to move him, which I think you probably should do, it won't be to me.
All right, let's talk about the next guy on the list, a guy you picked off the waiver wire, Javier Baez, who's had a pretty good season here. Qualifies in a lot of spots, hitting 285 on the year, 9 homers, 36 RBI. Okay, cool. Javier Baez renaissance, except for the fact the Baseball Savant page is ice cold. It's blue everywhere, and that is not a good thing. His expected batting average is 253. That's 30 points below that 285 mark. The OPS is at 784, but that's not going to hold. Again, the deeper metrics are screaming that Javier Baez can't sustain this. And considering what the recent seasons have looked like from Javier Baez, I would agree. So, George, I'm out on Javier Baez. He is a big sell high for me right now. How about you?
You already gotten the best of Javi Baez, right? It's got to be declining from here on out. It just has to be. I don't have much belief here. I don't have him anywhere. Didn't pick him up anywhere. Never really believed. And I'm not. As soon as I grab him, I know he's going to just fall apart, right? He's going to about 073 for the week here and do nothing for you. No, let him be someone else's problem. I want nothing to do with them. It's not all him. The ballpark is not conducive to hitting, right? It's a pitcher's ballpark there, unless you're really Riley Green, who's having a fantastic season. Hey, Gleyber Torres, getting out of New York's having a nice season for them as well. But Javi Baez, no thank you.
All right, I want to talk about Jonathan Aranda for a second, who also has been terrific this season for the Tampa Bay Rays. You look at the counting stats, 331 batting average, 42 RBI. I mean, that's been terrific. Aranda has been a big bat that they have needed in this lineup around Junior Caminero, so that's been spectacular. Now, his Baseball Savant page is still really good. My only concern, and again, maybe it's minimal, is that if you look at the numbers, the 369 batting average at home versus just 279 on the road. The OPS is more than 100 points less on the road. And the Rays have a ton of road games coming up because of the way the schedule lays out for them in the summer. Is this the time to at least kick the tires on what you could get for Aranda, especially if you get an overpay based on how good he has been, the way the schedule looks like it is laid out, George?
What could you get for Aranda? We're not talking about a sexy name here. There's a lot of fantasy players, in your average home. Who? Aranda. Tampa. That kind of guy is not there. I don't think you're going to be able to get what you want for him here. Now, you're right. I think it's 52. Sooner or later, it's 52 of 83 games on the road here, so those numbers are going to be a little different. Aranda is that left-hander, taking advantage of Steinbrenner Field, which is made for left-handers. Yankee Stadium, it's modeled after. So, yeah, those numbers should change somewhat. But, 280 on the road, pretty good. It's still helping you out fantasy-wise, right? So I'm not dying to get rid of him. Once again, you probably have him as a corner infielder. Maybe here's your DH. He's probably not your starting first baseman. He certainly could be, depending on who you had there. So I'm not looking to get rid of him. That's what I'm trying to go with you here. If someone wants to overpay me, absolutely, we can chat. Or even pay me even. But I'm not looking to just sell this. I think he's going to be terrible. I don't think that. I think he's going to be okay, Joe. Okay, not great, but okay. So I'm not looking to get rid of the guy.
All right, let's talk about Chris Bubic. Let's turn our attention to some of the pitchers here because Bubic has been terrific, and none of the deeper metrics are troubling at all. 96 strikeouts in 91 innings, got 2.18 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP. It's the innings. Those are the numbers that are really concerning me with Bubic because if you look at 2024, the total innings for him between AA, AAA, rookie ball, it was only 35 innings there in 2024 with the Major League club 30. So you're looking at 60-something innings. The year before, just 16 coming off an injury. So to me, this is the only concern is we've hit that just about 100 inning mark, and Bubic in the second half, if he starts to wear down, you could lose a lot of his trade stock and trade value. You've already gotten return, George. We talked about, well, you've already gotten everything you could possibly ask for from Chris Bubic. Is now the time to get something else in the terms of getting maybe another player for him for the latter part of the season?
Yeah, and I think you hit the reasons why. You want to trade him before he starts to wilt a little bit during the summer here. He's had a fantastic season, better than we could have thought. But remember, the Kansas City Royals, looks like it's not going to happen for them this season. They're not out of it. They're not. All right, they're only 4.5 games back in the wild card here, but they got to go over like 6 teams here to get in there. We don't know what Reagan's right. They lost him here. So maybe that forced them where they want to keep Bubic in the lineup, but you already brought up the innings pitch numbers. He's already 60 over last season. That's usually a red flag already, right? Teams don't like to go over 40. And listen, I don't know what the Royals believe in. Maybe they don't care about that. But I do wonder as the season goes on here, if they get 7 games out, 8 games out, and they go, no, we're not going to risk Bubic anymore. We're going to make sure he's 5 and fly, or we're going to shut him down. I do worry about that. So yes, absolutely. I think he's a guy you look to move here to a pitching needy team.
Another guy with innings concerns for me is Clay Holmes, George. 63 innings last year, obviously pitching out of the bullpen, 63 the year before that. His baseball savant page has only one red thing in it, and it's the ground ball percentage, which is in the top 90th percent. Everything else is 50% or below. That is not good. His expected ERA is at 4.12. His actual ERA is at 2.97. To me, same reasons, George, for Bubic is why I'm looking around at Clay Holmes going, maybe it's time to get out from under him too. We see him maybe wear down a little bit here. And then one more name, Drew Rasmussen here, another player who's had a terrific season, but again, innings, George, starting to wonder, are they starting to pile up? 84 already this season for Drew Rasmussen, who has been terrific. Like, it's really difficult to say that Rasmussen isn't a pitcher that you want in your rotation, but just 28 big leagues innings last year, again, working out of the bullpen mostly. I got to say, I'm also concerned about him. So Rasmussen or Holmes, who do you think brings you back more in a trade right now?
Oh, I was playing in New York League where you and I are in the vicinity here. Probably Holmes, right? You got a Met fan that'll will give up more than they should for him here. No shock with Holmes, by the way. He was coming in. He's a reliever. Of course, they're going to be very careful with him. We're seeing it now. The Mets don't want him to go more than 5 innings here. Rasmussen is the better pitcher, overall. So yeah, I think he would be the guy, but they're both kind of similar here. And what will Tampa do with Rasmussen? Are they going to be very cautious with him? Now let him go over an innings limit. It's going to be very fun to see here. Both guys should be on your let's move this guy before he hurts me list.
We're going to keep the conversation going with more pitchers here on SportsGrid. We come back 2-star pitcher for next week. Should you or shouldn't you? We'll tell you when we come back.
What do you make of this price tag here? reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark.
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all three levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back, everybody, to FST here on SportsGrid. It's time to look ahead already to the two-star pitchers, the guys we think we can count on and the guys that maybe we're having second thoughts. Let's start with Matthew Boyd, who's been terrific for the Cubs this year. I've taken some shots at the Cubs rotation. Tyon, Colin Ray, am I really buying him? Ben Brown, a guy that was terrible in the daytime, good at night, and then he got smoked the other night and they sent him back down to AAA. So it's been a rough go for the Cubs rotation. Thank goodness for Matthew Boyd, another one of my favorite sleepers going into last season. And George, he's been terrific this year. If you look at overall what Matthew Boyd has given you, you got to be thrilled with that contract that the Cubs signed him for. You saw some good moments from him last year in the American League, and it's really great that it's carried over. 91 innings, 82 strikeouts for him, 80 hits given up. He's got a 1.10 whip, a 2.65 ERA. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty confident here that against Cleveland and St. Louis that I want to start Matthew Boyd. Do you agree? Are you with me here where this is just a no-doubter for me, the way he's pitched this year?
What would the joke be? You had me at Cleveland? All right. I mean, come on. It's a team that really can't hit all that much here. St. Louis been a little better offensively than we probably expected coming into the year. But my thing is this. If he's on your roster and you're not starting him this week, you either have one hell of a pitching staff, which, it's possible. Maybe a lot of great, the Striders of the world. You got late, and you got to make tough decisions for one starters, but he goes for me. It's an easy choice. He definitely goes for me here. I do think there's some regression coming with him, by the way. He can be in our last segment as well. He's at 91 innings already, only threw 39 last year. So he's another guy, 34 years of age. You wonder if there's going to be a problem. But I don't see the Cubs shutting him down. I don't see them worrying all that much about it if his arm falls off.
No, I think the Cubs are in it for better or worse. Now, they've been rumored also to be kicking the tires on some of the Marlins pitchers, Edward Cabrera, Sandy Alcantara. We'll see if that comes to fruition for them. I just don't think they've got the system to pull off that kind of deal. Personally, we'll see what happens. Maybe a Cade Horton plus. I don't know if they want to even do that. Next guy on the list is Ryan Nelson, who's taken over that spot for Corbin Burns in the Diamondbacks rotation now. Last outing was pretty good for him. 5 innings pitched. 7 punch outs for him against the White Sox. So I guess you want to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. Before that, he was pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays, George, 4 strikeouts in that game, just 2 walks, 1 earned run. So over his last 10 2/3 innings, he's only given up 2 earned runs. You go back another start before that, San Diego Padres, 5 innings again. So we know what he is. He's not a guy who's going to give you a quality start, but He's given up, now that I'm looking at it, 15 2/3 innings, just 2 earned runs. So really just 1 or fewer in the last 3 outings. You look at the tail of the tape here and what he's got ahead of him, the San Francisco Giants and the Kansas City Royals. Now, the Royals have struggled offensively, and the Giants, although they've brought in Devers, still not lighting the world on fire offensively. I got to say, I don't like the fact that Corbin Burns isn't in that lineup for the Diamondbacks, but I kind of feel like Nelson in a deeper league is actually a worthy streamer despite maybe one of those matchups being a little bit tougher. What do you think about Ryan Nelson this week in the matchups he's got? And keep in mind, one of them is right now tentatively against Logan Webb in that first one against the Giants. That could be a tough one.
That's the annoying thing. I mean, you already said some of the numbers here. 1, 1, 0, 7, 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, 2, 0, 1. That's his earned runs in his last 10 starts? I mean, yeah, he got obliterated in Cincinnati. He gave 7. Other than that, I don't think he's given 7 combined in the other 9 starts here. So, yeah, I'm going with him here. He's hot. He's pitching well here. Listen, if you're in a league where you need the W, if you're in a points league and the win is the most important thing, which is my home league, it's all about the win. All right, that Logan Webb one's going to be a problem. You know, you're probably not going to get the win. Webb he also pitches great every start. Maybe neither one of them gets a win. You know, it's a 2-2 tie going into the 8th here. So that would concern me here. But anything else, he goes for me. Yeah, I'm starting Ryan Nelson this week.
I agree. I think I hope for the best in that first outing against Webb. I take whatever counting stats he gives me. Now, the problem is I don't think he's going to give me a quality start. He seems to be a 5-inning max pitcher. Okay, fine. Can you give me a quality start and a win in that second outing? I think the answer is good enough, potentially, to do that. Max Scherzer returned from the IL. Kind of a mixed bag of results. I think we all kind of expected that. He's got 2 outings this week against the Yankees and against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Against the Yankees, he's going to face Carlos Rodon. I don't know, George. For me, this is also one of these where if you're desperate for, throwing darts at walls here, you're trying to get back in stuff, and this is the only option you have, and the waiver wire is barren, maybe I'll give it a shot. Max Scherzer is a competitor. I get that, but I don't hold out a lot of hope against Rodon and the Yankees for him. Against the Angels, I think that's a more winnable opportunity. What do you think?
Wow, look at that. What do I think about Max Scherzer? Not a whole lot.
Buddy.
All right. The good news is, though, that against the Yankees aren't hitting right now. They haven't been hitting for a couple of weeks, and that hasn't changed. They're winning some games. They scored 3 runs last night, but it wasn't very impressive. So that's my only caveat. 2 start weeks, you get the Yankees, and you said the Angels, another team. That's an average offense at best. Those games are in Toronto, which is a bandbox, so that could be a problem as well. I don't know how deep he's going to go into these games. Right, he threw 5 innings his last start here. Maybe gives you 5-6 innings. If not for a 2-starter, we wouldn't be talking about Max Scherzer. It's only for 2-start. This comes down to what else you have on your roster. He's a guy, by the way, if I have, let's say I'm not sitting an ace because Max Scherzer has 2 starts. That's what I'm going with this year. If you have nobody else, fine, but I'm not expecting big things from Max Scherzer.
Yeah, apologies there. I must be allergic there with that sneeze to Max Scherzer stealing money for the last 3 years from the Blue Jays, the Mets, and the Rangers. Oh, I'm better now. Don't worry, everybody. Let's get to Emerson Hancock against the Kansas City Royals and Andrew Heaney of the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2 winnable potential games. The question is, how do you feel about Emerson Hancock, a guy who's got a low strikeout rate, George? I think this one's a pass for me. What do you think?
If there's a guy in baseball who's cost me some money this year, it's Hancock. I bet against him a couple of times, and those are like his greatest starts ever when I bet against the guy. Once again, I'm not dying to do this. You are getting Pittsburgh. We know they're terrible offensively. Kansas City Royals have struggled offensively for a few weeks now, sort of like the Yankees there. So I guess you could make the argument here. He did give up 9 runs against the Cubs, but the Cubs are a pretty good offense. Other than that, he's been solid. He's been solid, Joe. So if you need 2 starts this week, maybe you need innings, right? You need strikeouts here. He doesn't get a lot of them. I can make the argument for him. I really can because of who he's starting against here. So he's not an automatic dismiss for me, even though I am not a believer in the guy.
Chase DeLander, the last one on our list, going against the Houston Astros in the White Sox.
No.
George, you sure? How do you really feel, George? All right.
No. You had me at Colorado. Right. No.
There you go. No more analysis needed. Instead, let's turn our attention to the guys we could plug off the waiver wire and stream this upcoming week. Don't go anywhere. These names are important.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all three levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back, everybody, to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. It's time to look ahead to some streaming pitching options, and God knows we need some, considering how incredible just the pitching injuries have mounted one after the other. This is fantasy baseball, folks. You can never have enough pitchers, and try not to invest too early in too many. That's the best advice I can give you. Look for the value. Build your rotations out with a lot of 1A and number 2 guys, and hope for the best on the waiver wire, or hope for the best in the late rounds. If you did that this year, you're probably still alive in your fantasy league, unless, of course, you took Tariq Skubal. That was the only guy that was really, to me, a first-round graded pitcher. So we'll see how the rest of the season pans out for the pitchers. But right now, we got to look ahead to Week 15 and look at Trevor Rogers, who, you know, as a pitcher, I got to say, George, I was always intrigued by when he's with the Marlins. Tall drink of water, 6'5". Sometimes those big lefties take a little bit longer in the pressure cooker to develop. And getting out from the Marlins is probably the best thing that could happen to him. Now he's with the Orioles, and all of a sudden, last couple of starts have been pretty good for him. Now he's got a matchup against the Texas Rangers, a lineup that has certainly struggled at times. Over 3 starts so far this year, he is 1-0 with 16 innings under his belt, 10 hits, 13 strikeouts, just 3 walks. That is the key here. The efficiency metrics much better. He is getting more economical. The control's been better. The 3 walks is what I'm circling and highlighting here, George, as maybe a potential turnaround. A .78 whip and a 1.62 ERA. Now, that's not going to hold over a long period of time, but can it hold this week against the Texas Rangers? I think he's streamable, and he is available in basically 90% of leagues. George, what do you think about Rogers? Is he a stream option for you this week?
This comes down to what do you believe in? He's facing Texas again, right? That he threw 8 innings, 101 pitches, shut them down, right? No runs, 3 hits, as you said here, no walks. Only for 4 strikeouts, which is somewhat surprising, especially in today's game. So do you believe, okay, you shut him down the first time, you shut him down the second time, or is it, oh, they've seen him now, they'll be better against him? It's also in Texas, which I think is the number 1 pitcher's ballpark in Major League Baseball this season for whatever reason. You want to blame the Texas offense? Fine, blame it. Either way, that plays into your hands here if you're starting Trevor Rogers. I'm with you. He's hot. I mean, once again, if you're streaming a guy, this is what we're looking for. Right, you're facing an offense that hasn't performed all that well. You're facing it in a place where balls don't fly out of the ballpark in Texas for whatever reason, the barbecue there. So, yeah, I'm kind of with you here that Trevor Rogers, a streamer. I'm not saying you're going to use it for the rest of the season here. We're talking about 1 start this week. I'm going to take a shot at it, yes.
Colton Gordon of the Astros, again, available in just about 90% of leagues right now. He's got to start Tuesday against the Colorado Rockies. Now, it's in Colorado, George.
I need to do this again.
Well, here's the thing. We've seen the strikeout rate of the Rockies just be a huge boon to fantasy pitchers all year long. I think that's the argument for. I don't think there's enough confidence that I have in Gordon that I'm going to take that start on the road in Colorado regardless. So I'm a no to this one, but I understand the logic behind it, which is the Rockies are bad, the Astros are better, and on top of that, the strikeouts are there. But I just think Gordon might be a little too hittable. What do you think?
It's Colorado. Once again, no. I'm not doing. We're not talking about it. Mazeroski, or Burns, or we're not talking about one of these guys. Skeen's getting called up. Someone like that. Okay, a wow guy being called up. Okay, then I'll start him. Anybody else is a no. For all I know, this guy's going to get wrecked this week. All right, and I'm certainly not doing it in a head-to-head league. All right, you want to do it in a artistry league? All right, I guess you can make the argument. But other than that, no. It's once again at Colorado is all I needed to see.
All right, a couple more to run through here. Brian Bayo of the Red Sox. He's very inconsistent. He's available in about 80% of leagues. He goes against the Cincinnati Reds. Jose Quintana of the Milwaukee Brewers takes on the Mets, the team he pitched for last year on Thursday. And Eric Lauer, who's been really good his last couple starts here for the for the Toronto Blue Jays. But when he was with the Brewers, he also had a stretch once upon a time not that long ago where he looked pretty sharp. He also qualifies at RP, too, so you have those mandatory RP spot leagues. To me, he's definitely a streamer there. George, Lauer, Bayo, and Quintana. If you had to pick one, who's the guy that does make your rotation this week?
Probably Bayo. I think he has the best stuff out of all three here, but you said it. Yeah, you're rolling with dice here. That dartboard throw is just going to be the start, not the start. So he'd probably be the guy I'd want first there. Lauer might be second with Quintana. Quintana's got the toughest lineup. He's going over against the Mets, who I still think are going to hit better and more consistently as the season rolls on here. I think you'll see now the Soto starting to hit, Alonso, Nemo, just too good a lineup, Lindor. They'll hit better as the season rolls on here. So Bayo would be the guy of the three that I trust most. But like I said, of the three, I don't trust Bayo. I just trust him most of the three guys you mentioned.
Imagine if Vientos finds himself again in his form of 2024, how good that lineup could be. All right, hour one is in the books, hour two just around the corner. And as we look to hour two, we're going to look to the trade deadline. Some guys that could get dealt and what it means for their fantasy value. We'll tell you right after this.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
And there's this one guy that's popping for me. It's like Tillinghast, Bomber's Paradise, Get Hot with the Putter, Northeast New York Horse. Like, I know a guy that fits that profile pretty well that won a pretty big tournament at Wingfoot. Like, this is this like perfect for Bryson?
It's perfect for Bryson.
Wow.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all three levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on Sports.